Hello and welcome to the third onboarding, searching and booking. I am now on the start page of Lanes and Planes and can select on the left side which travel component I would like to book. Via the all-in-one button, you can book a means of transport and, if needed, a hotel booking. If you only want to book transport, this is also possible via the all-in-one button, and you can skip the hotel booking in the further process. Via the Hotel Only button, only a hotel can be booked, and via the Rental Car button, the desired rental car can be booked. In our appointment today, I would like to book an all-in-one trip together with you. In advance, you can set filters regarding the desired means of transport. You can already filter by the flight cabin class or by the desired hotel room type. Now you have to add the starting address, and if Google Maps is in the background, you receive the available addresses on the right side and can select the desired address. Also at this point, the stored favorites are always displayed. Each user can define the favorites themselves in their personal user account. From these stored favorites, I can quickly and easily select the starting or destination location. In the further process, I enter the date of the outbound journey. If I already know the departure or arrival time at this point, I can also specify them in the next step. If you only need a one-way trip and only want to travel outbound, then you can click on the Only Outbound button here to book just this one-way trip. Alternatively, the return trip can also be booked in the same section. In the Traveler field, you can now define for whom you want to book this trip. You, as the logged-in person, also appear here as the traveling person. Depending on the role the user has, they also have the authorization to book a trip for another user. For example, the traveler could now book a trip for another person and for himself. It's important, if you book for more than one person, the person in the top is the main traveler. That means if you're working with cost units, for example, only the cost center from the main traveler will be visible on the invoice. A user with the role of travel assistant, manager or admin can also book a trip only for another person. By removing themselves, they can book just a trip for another person. Guest bookings are also possible in Lanes and Planes. We always speak of guests when it is people who do not have a user account in Lanes and Planes. To create a guest, the gender, first name, last name, and the date of birth are required. It is sufficient to create the guest once. If the guest profile is created, you will see an already created guest here in the overview and can now book a trip again for this guest. In our example today, I am booking a trip only for myself. Before I start the search, I would like to refer you to the concierge service of Lanes and Planes. Lanes and Planes is a self-booking system. This means all trips that you can independently book via the following booking engine must also be booked independently by you. For more complex inquiries that cannot be booked independently, you can always get in touch with the concierge service of Lanes and Planes. Behind this button, we will find a list of more complex travel services that can be booked via the concierge team. We take the second example. If you need an airport transfer, you are welcome to request it via the concierge service. You click on the corresponding term and a contract form will open. You must fill in certain data accordingly, and based on this, an offer will be created by our concierge service team. You will receive this offer by email. After confirmation, the airport transfer can also be checked via Lanes and Planes. If you could not independently find the desired hotel in the search, you are also welcome to contact the concierge service in this area of special hotels and accommodations. A special case here is also Motel One chain. Motel One offers very few beds through third-party providers such as Lanes and Planes. Therefore, it may be that you find availability via the direct sales of Motel One, but not in Lanes and Planes. Should that be the case, you would like to book the desired Motel One, please contact the concierge service via the following contact form. We are also happy to handle the airport parking for you. If you were unable to independently find the desired rental car in the search, you are also welcome to contact the concierge service team again. The same applies for ferry bookings and group travel. At Lanes and Planes, we consider a group to be 6 or more people, and we are also happy to support you in organizing and booking this trip. Due to the high effort involved, a corresponding service fee is charged for group travel according to our terms and conditions. The other concierge service offerings are included and do not incur additional costs. In our example today, it is a simple trip that I can book by myself. I start the search, and now all direct interfaces and reservation systems are checked. Subsequently, all availabilities are displayed here on the right side as follows. In the bar at the very top, I can see in which section of the booking I am currently located. We start with the selected outbound trip. On the left side, I can view the details again and have the option at this point to set various filters so that only those connections are displayed to me here on the right side that are interesting and relevant to me. In my example, the results are sorted by price. Each user can define this sorting in their user account. By clicking on details, further details of this connection are loaded. I now see the connection in detail here, and on the right side, I can view the available fare conditions via the drop-down menu and can accordingly choose my desired condition. Additional costs, for example for seat reservations, are also displayed to me, and by clicking on ticket and fare conditions, I get even more information about this topic. Based on this, I can then simply choose my desired condition, click on select, and I am led to the return trip after selecting the outbound journey. Here we have the same principle. I start again on the left side and can set appropriate filters in advance. In my example, I would like now to return by plane, so I deactivate the train bookings and just have the flight options here on the right side. Again, I click on the details for my desired connection so that further details are loaded. And I now see the connection from Berlin to Munich in detail. In the further process, I am also shown how I get from Munich Airport to my final address by taxi. I have set this in my preference here for my transit at destination by taxi, and therefore I receive these further information. I get an estimated duration and an estimated price. It's important, public transportation and also taxi cannot be booked via Lanes and Planes. This serves purely as information. I can assume that I will also arrive at my final address shortly before 10. The flight can of course be booked quite conveniently via Lanes and Planes. Here you have a drop-down menu and can select the desired fare condition. At this point, Lanes and Planes work with items. Through these symbols displayed below, it is clearly visible what is included in the fare and what is not included. Based on that, you can select your desired connection and fare condition and are led to the hotel booking after selecting the means of transport. As already mentioned at the very beginning via the all-in-one button, you can also book only means of transport. By now, clicking on the button "No hotel needed," the hotel booking is skipped. Alternatively, if you need a hotel, you can again start on the left side. For the search, you can search for your desired hotel and can filter your type of accommodation in the further process. On the right side, all availabilities are displayed to me in list view. The entire list can also be displayed on a map. I prefer the list view. At this point, switch back to it and can now click on details so that further information of this hotel are loaded. Perhaps important in advance, as already visible, personal preferences can be set. By simply clicking on the button for favorites, you add this hotel to your favorites. As already mentioned, this is based on a personal basis, meaning each user can define favorites independently. If there is availability in the defined favorites, these will always be shown at the beginning of the search, as already seen, regardless of which filters or sorting I have defined. A hotel description has now been loaded. The amenities in the hotel are also visible. If I have the time and I'm interested in, I can view photos at this point and receive further information. I can see which room types are available. In the further process, I see the total price, and when I hover over the total price, I can see from which interface or platform this rate was pulled. In the second column, it is visible whether breakfast is included, as in these examples, or it's not included. If breakfast is not included in the rate, I also receive further information by hovering over the corresponding symbol with the mouse. In the last section, the cancellation policy is then visible. If the room is also cancelable, the date is of course also displayed. And here too, I can receive more information by hovering over the corresponding date with the mouse. Normally, for hotel bookings, you receive the following cost coverage as confirmation. On this form, the contact details of our service partner eHotel are listed. Very important here is the coverage. Room with breakfast, parking fees, internet, tourist tax, and culture tax are included. That means that if you now book a rate where breakfast is not included, but you decide to have breakfast, these additional costs will be covered by the cost coverage form since they fall within the cost coverage. Of course, services that do not fall within the cost coverage must be paid by the traveler themselves. At the end of the cost coverage form is a credit card number from our service partner eHotel, which can simply be charged at the hotel upon departure. An exception is formed by so-called prepaid rates. The prepaid rates are recognizable by the following info symbol next to the total price. Very important here, no cost coverage is issued. This means that for booking a prepaid rate, only those additional services that were already included at the time of booking are covered. In this concrete example, this would mean this is a rate without breakfast, If I have breakfast on site, the traveler must pay it for themselves at the hotel. The prepaid rate is paid at the time of booking, and as already mentioned, additional services used on site must be paid for by the traveler. In addition, VAT is already included in prepaid rates and is not shown separately on the invoice. I am now select my desired rate by clicking Select, and I'm led to checkout after selection. In checkout, I am informed about the stored travel policies. I could now click on these edit pencil here again to select other connections that lie within the policy. If I need exactly these connections, I click on Validate and Reserve. In the further process, I am led to the next checkout step and have the option at this point to choose the seats. Both with Deutsche Bahn and with most airlines, we have access to the seat map so that the desired seat can be selected independently. After selecting the seats, I click the Continue to Payment button and I'm led to the final last step. Depending on which mandatory information your company has specified, these must also be filled out in the next section. For example, if purpose of trip is a mandatory field, then this must be filled out here. Your company can also specify that a justification for bookings outside the policy is required. If your company also specifies this information is mandatory, then this must also be indicated in the following section. You must accept the terms and conditions and complete the booking. The booking is now confirmed. A booking confirmation is generated and sent to you via email. Part of the booking confirmation are also already the tickets in PDF version, and these tickets can also be viewed at any time in Lanes and Planes in the desktop version as well as in the Lanes and Planes app. In the user account under Bookings and Tickets, I see the travel service we just booked together. Please note that the trip was booked in Lanes and Planes and therefore any changes and adjustments should also be made in Lanes and Planes. Via the Change button, you can make a change. Please note that train bookings, hotel and rental car bookings cannot be changed. These bookings can be cancelled and booked again. By clicking Submit Change, you can proceed with the cancellation. Clicking back makes no changes. For a flight booking, by clicking on Change, you can choose whether you want to cancel the flight. You then have the same view as before with the cancellation fee and refundable price. A cancellation can also be made again via the button Submit Change. If you want to rebook the flight, we ask you to provide the requested data in the comment field, and via Submit Change, our rebooking request will be submitted to Lanes and Planes. Our support team will take care of your request. You will receive a suitable offer by email, and after confirmation, we will be happy to rebook the flight for you. At the end, I would like to refer you to our help center. Via Help and FAQs, you will get to the Lanes and Planes Help Center and can view many helpful articles and video guides. Today we discussed the topic Book and Travel with Lanes and Planes. In the following section, you will find many helpful articles and information for this topic. At the very end of the Help Center, you can also view the opening hours of the Lanes and Planes support team and have the possibility at any time to contact the support team by phone or by email.